Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted thundery and rainy weather conditions from Monday to Wednesday across the country. In its weather outlook released on Sunday in Abuja, NIMET predicted cloudy atmosphere over the northern region with prospects of morning thunderstorms on Monday over parts of Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, Taraba, Kaduna, Bauchi and Gombe states, in addition to Yobe, Jigawa, Borno and Adamawa states later in the day. The inland and coastal cities of the south should be predominantly cloudy with prospects of morning rains over parts of Oyo, Cross River, Delta, Port Harcourt and Bayelsa states, with rains over most parts of Imo, Abia, Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, Osun, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, Oyo, Ogun, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Lagos and Bayelsa states later in the day. According to the agency, the northern parts and north-central region of the country are still at risk of floods and emergency agencies are expected to be at alert. The Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, has assured Nigerians that COVID-19 vaccines produced in the country will be of international standard with the strengthening of the agency. Adeyeye gave the assurance during the oversight visit of the House of Representatives Committee on COVID-19 to the NAFDAC facilities and COVID-19 laboratory project in Lagos. Adeyeye described the federal government's huge spending on the fight against COVID-19 as exemplified by the construction of the new COVID-19 laboratory as a wake-up call for the country. She, however, noted with dismay that the health sector had been neglected before the present administration responded through the COVID-19 Committee of the National Assembly. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has cautioned candidates across all the political parties not to flout the provisions of the Electoral Act regarding campaigns. This is coming exactly 1 month to the commencement of campaigns for the presidential and National Assembly elections. The Commission had fixed September 28 for the commencement of campaigns for the presidential and National Assembly, while the elections would hold on February 25, 2023. The Commission also reminded the parties and their candidates that using masqueraders, public facilities and religious centers for campaigns is prohibited and offenders could be liable to punishment which include fines and imprisonment. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said he does not have a special candidate for the upcoming 2023 presidential election, but a national agenda. Obasanjo spoke to newsmen yesterday shortly after he paid a visit to former head of state retired General Abdulsalami Abubakar in Minna, Niger State, who he said was indisposed and had to visit. Obasanjo, who has had a series of meetings with notable personalities and politicians lately, including another former military leader, retired General Ibrahim Babangida, however added that if there was anybody again who is special and indisposed that he has to see, he would do so. Speculation arose after Obasanjo met in London with Atiku Abubakar, his former vice president, and Peter Obi, who are both presidential candidates of political parties. Leadership of Labour Party has dissociated itself and accused the Imo State coordinator of Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Organization, Fabian Ihekweme, of fraudulent activities. In a statement issued by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Arabambi Abayomi, on Sunday, the party alleged that Ihekweme had committed serial fraud by obtaining money from people under false pretense with the sole objective of compromising the party's victory at the 2023 general elections. Reacting to the allegation, Ihekweme, in another statement on Sunday, said the insinuations were false, arguing that the Imo Campaign Council was duly inaugurated by Professor Pat Utomi, while he pleaded with the hierarchy of the party to desist from attempting to demarcate their presidential candidate, Peter Obi. The National Executive Council, the NEC, of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, is meeting to review its 6-month-old strike. Yesterday's meeting, which started in the evening is expected to see the striking union make a decision about its protracted industrial dispute with its employers, the federal government. Despite several meetings between the federal government and members of the union, ASUU has not backed down on its demands. The West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has described as untrue claims that it carried out ranking on performance of states in its recently released examination for school candidates. Its head of national office, Mr. Patrick Reagan, dismissed the claims, which he described as misleading, false, and the handiwork of mischief makers. Reagan, in an interview in Lagos, said he urged the public to disregard the ranking, saying that the malicious reports did not emanate from the council, as WAEC does not do state ranking but only indicate number of credits in subjects and other categories. The acting Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Mrs. Foroshola Oloyede, has said that more law enforcement and traffic regulatory agencies had been deployed to manage traffic along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In a statement on Sunday in Lagos, in which she gave an update on traffic situation at the Berger-Opik axis of the expressway, where construction works are ongoing, Oloyede said the police, as well as the Federal Government Safety Corps and the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, had been engaged to improve traffic control on the road. Road users along the route have been facing hard times, spending long hours in gridlock resulting from the construction. Oloyede also said that the contractor had also been instructed to block all illegal road diversions, especially between Maguro and Opik, while she urged motorists to maintain lane discipline and obey all stationed traffic control officers along the road. The Lagos State Examinations Board has released the year 2022 admission list of successful candidates to its 16 model colleges and upgraded junior secondary schools in the state. Its Deputy Director, Public Affairs of the Board, Mr. Bakare Fatai, who stated this in a statement on Sunday, said all the successful candidates should log into the board's portal, which is examsboard.lagosstate.gov.ng, with the card serial numbers and PIN provided to them during registration. The board, while congratulating the successful candidates, added in the statement that they should click on admission status to print out their letters for further processing. Lagos State Governor Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu has described Nigerian youths as the future of the world and urged them to take charge of the future. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated this during the year 2022 Children and Youth Harvest Thanksgiving of Our Saviour's Church, Diocese of Lagos Anglican Communion at Marina, Lagos, with the theme Harvest of Restoration and Divine Satisfaction. He admonished the youths to participate actively in different activities that are geared towards nation building, saying leadership is not only achieved when people are elected as governors or president, but from various roles assigned wherever they find themselves.
To build a youth population, to build a youth economy, to build a youth entrepreneurship in which indeed we can provide opportunities for you. And how do we do that? Is to ensure that we use technology as a strong enabler for all of that. To use technology as a rally point so that we can leapfrog and we can actualize a lot of our initiatives.
Speaking earlier, the Vicar of Our Saviour's Church, TBS, the Venerable Ife Okukbevi, urged Governor Sanwo-Olu to intervene in the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities by speaking to President Muhammadu Buhari, the Minister of Education, and other stakeholders to end the union strike that has grounded tertiary education for many months. You're still listening to the World News, reaching you from your favorite radio station. Moving on to the foreign scene. Angolans and a dozen African leaders gathered on Sunday for the state funeral of former President Jose Eduardo dos Santos, whose nearly 4-decade rule of the oil-rich nation was marred by allegations of plunder and nepotism. The ceremony is taking place in the capital Luanda on what would have been dos Santos' 80th birthday and comes days after his party, the People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, MPLA, saw its worst results at the polls in the most hotly contested elections since independence. Dos Santos, who ruled Angola with an iron fist for 38 years from 1979 to 2017, died last month at a clinic in Barcelona following a cardiac arrest on July 8, 2022, and will be buried with military honors. Some of his children were at loggerheads with the government and his estranged wife over where and when he was to be buried. The son of a Tanzanian state minister has been fined after he was accused of ramming cars last week and allegedly bragging about his father's influence. James Simbachiwane, the son of George Simbachiwane, was fined 250,000 Tanzanian shillings, roughly $107, for the offences of reckless driving, driving under the influence of alcohol, and driving an uninsured vehicle. The 24-year-old was arrested after a video of the incident in Dar es Salaam, Kinondoni area went viral. His father had asked the authorities to take full legal action against him, adding that he was a grown man now and should take full responsibility for his own actions. In business news this morning, the president of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, CIPM, Mr. Olusegun, has charged the professional body of human resources to up their game as more rival professional bodies are springing up and pushing for national recognition. Mr. Mojid gave the charge at the gathering of fellows of CIPM, which recently inducted 21 fellows into the Council of Fellows of CIPM. He established that there would always be rivalries in all spheres, but survival depends on what the institute has to offer the young generation of HR professionals, urging HR mentors to do more to attract young HR professionals into the CIPM.
No, the danger in my profession now is a lot of WhatsApp HR practitioners. They have no experience, they are not ready to be tutored, they don't want to submit themselves to any tutelage, and we need to ease a cankerworm that's eating deep into our profession. Can you imagine somebody with 4 years experience in HR calling himself global HR leader? So these people, seated in this room, they owe this institute that duty. That's why they also belong to various committees.
Finally, in sport news, the home-based Super Eagles fell to a 2-0 defeat to the Black Galaxies of Ghana in the first leg of the 2022 CHAN final qualifying round on Sunday. The game, which was played inside the Cape Coast Stadium, Accra saw Afiriye Banye and Suraj Saidu getting the goals for the Black Galaxies. Both teams will meet in the second leg, built for Saturday, September 3rd, inside the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. The winner over 2 legs between Ghana and Nigeria will qualify for next year's CHAN in Algeria. The home-based Eagles failed to qualify for the 2020 CHAN after losing to Togo in the qualifiers. The new English Premier League continued with round 4 of matches at the weekend, with Arsenal maintaining a 100% record to the start of the season after a 2-1 win over Fulham. Defending champions Manchester City made a comeback win to beat Crystal Palace 4-2. Chelsea saw off Leicester City 2-1. Liverpool were dominant over Bournemouth with a 9-0 win, and Tottenham beat Nottingham Forest 2-0, while Manchester United won 1-0 away at Southampton. Other results saw Brighton beat Leeds 1-0, Everton drew 1-1 with Brentford, Aston Villa lost 1-0 to West Ham, while Newcastle and Wolverhampton played a 1-1 draw.
Lagos Talks
91.3.